For many years, Ndi Igbo had been described as Republican. But the word Republican is too small to contain the deep democratic culture built into the foundation of the Igbo society. Igbo ancestors lived a lifestyle beyond politics. They lived with human dignity, strong value for human life, high morality, community participation, and they responded to authority without force. Our host, Oba Balanze, insists that the word we choose to describe Ndi Igbo determines what part of Igbo civilization we are able to see.
This issue of claiming that we are Republicans, when we really mean to say we are a democratic people.
It is important that Ndi Igbo recognize that the word Republican conveys a narrow political arrangement, the absence of one absolute ruler. But democracy, the way Igbo ancestors practice it, describes a wider social habit, an Igbo social habit that asks who participates. How does authority become legitimate? What protects the human person under authority? And what limits power? A society like we see in America can reject monarchy and still fail to protect human dignity. The deeper question the Igbo society is built to ask is not only who rules, it also asks what values rule the ruler and the ruled. What values rule the leader and the community? Ndi Igbo are built to reject every society that promotes one rule for the leader and a different rule for the community.
Looking at how Nri spread their values of title taking, values of sanctity of life, the dignity of human person, and the fact that there's things you cannot do because they're abominable.
Now, this is where the argument becomes more powerful. For Ndi Igbo, democracy was not simply everybody speaking at once. No. Democracy existed inside a moral world, a world in which life had sanctity, the human person had dignity, titles carried recognized meaning, certain conduct crossed boundaries the community considered unacceptable. Participation without moral limits was considered noise, a flave. Only values can give participation direction. Igbo ancestors told the strong that strength had limits and told the community that not every action could be justified by power, wealth, or anger.
As the priests traveled, of course, they didn't carry arms. There's no question of saying, if you do this, we put you in cell. Or it was a matter of showing the people there is value in being orderly and avoiding those things that they regarded as very negative.
Now, we reach the difficult question. If the ambassadors of Nri, while spreading these values, did not arrive with weapons, threats for prison cells, or armed enforcers, how did they influence Igbo society? How did they convince Ndi Igbo? Now, Ndi Igbo understood that fear produces immediate obedience. But fear disappears when the enforcer leaves. Oba Balanze points to the fact that Igbo ancestors built a universe in which persuasion, supported by institutions that people recognize, became a viable alternative to fear. For Ndi Igbo, the real strength of a community was not that one person could command everyone. It was that the community could organize values into structures that continued beyond any leader or visiting ambassador.
All they did was to set up structures like the also title taking. Previously, they traveled all over Igbo land to institute and initiate people. But as they did that, they built a class of also people plus the Ndi migrants who also settled there and became citizens, became members of the society.
That particular community.
Yes. And then acting in concert with those of them who have been initiated into title, they took over the place as their own, not an Ndi man coming to be an overlord. And I think that this democratic culture must have come from those early beginnings of getting to people, impacting values without necessarily being imposing.
So, the key word for Ndigbo here is structure. Our ancestors understood that a personality can persuade one generation, but only an institution can transmit expectations across generations. So they created titles with which they recognized roles and communal participation. These titles made authority less dependent on one voice. The system was carried by people inside the society. Leadership, therefore, became something organized through relationship rather than something owned by one man. This system made the framework for order larger than the personal ambition of a ruler.
Like killing or sacrificing human beings or whatever, And they never came to any society and they established themselves as the king,
as overlord
or the ruler.
There were no proclamations.
Yes.
When we say Ndigbo were Republican, what we've done is to place a smaller bear on something deeper and bigger. The deeper foundation described here embodied the values of human dignity, sanctity of life, moral boundaries, participation by all, institutions, and persuasion as fundamental principles. Authority was not supposed to swallow the people. Authority was expected to live inside structures that people could recognize and carry. Igbo society was not built only by resisting kings. Igbo society was built by organizing values. That is why the deeper description is not merely republican. It is democratic culture rooted in the community.